and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close. So are people normally this quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Oh my god, this guy is so cringe. Remember when we all thought like, oh, Elon Musk, he's so cool, man. He's like the real world Iron Man. God, those were good times, because it turns out, actually, ironically, just like real life, he's Dr. fucking Doom. It's honestly crazy that the richest man in the world is also the cringiest. I mean, you'd think you could buy a personality or something, but alas, as we'll see in this abysmally cringe Oval Office interview that Elon Musk just gave, he is just the biggest piece of shit, and you can see here he's being admired by the orangest piece of shit, his boyfriend Donald Trump. Thankfully, if these clips of Elon Musk humiliating himself in the Oval Office aren't enough, we also have some beautiful, brilliant internet trolling takedowns that I'd like to share with you as well. So as much as it literally makes my skin crawl to watch these next few clips, let's grit our teeth and do it together and hopefully have some laughs along the way. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel, and let's get into it. So Elon Musk was in the Oval Office today, flaunting one of his genetic spawn, which I can only assume is named after a Roman numeral, and he was there trying to defend his aggressive efforts to overhaul the government when he was asked about the pushback from his detractors that you heard there earlier, and he responded so nonchalantly and cavalierly that the internet just had to troll him. Because as I've said many a times now, memes are the literal only catharsis we can get.
Sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
And as always, it only gets worse from there, but some of the responses online were this one from a right-wing cope that I can't read aloud, but I'll let you read if you'd like. As well as someone adding down here, if a political group is able to capture the presidency, the House, the Senate, and have a majority on SCOTUS, he should be able to do whatever he wants with no bars to his powers, is about the most undemocratic thing I've ever heard. And probably my favorite of this batch, never before has a single human made me want to unalive so hard. And then in this next clip, he completely unironically, as the biggest toolbag unelected bureaucrat right now, says that we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy currently.
So if there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy.
And to that, you had people responding, the Senate and House completely abdicated their constitutional duty, and now Elon Musk, you're pushing to ignore the judiciary. How is that not a dictatorship? As well as this is projection. You, sir, are the unelected bureaucracy. Thank you. Love the mansplaining from the unelected, unconfirmed ketamine addict, allegedly. And then only a simpleton comes to this conclusion. Congress and the president put these folks in place. And finally, before we see just a class act takedown of both Elon Musk and the maggots who support his hostile government takeover, this final clip where he appears to be pandering as a father figure, he basically implies that because he personally is not the one filing his company SpaceX's government contracts, that there's no conflict of interest for him to have his fingers in the government.
I can just ask a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that
we
a
definitely
conflict
need
of
to do
interest?
and are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract.
Right, and by that logic, if I have a sketchy accountant file my taxes, then clearly I'm not liable for all the fraud they may commit. That's logic only a billionaire could think of. Hell, even the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, had to get in on the shitting on Elon fun as well.
Do you think Musk's approach then is from a position of insecurity about XAI?
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
You feel for him?
I do, actually. I don't think he's like a happy person. I do feel for him.
Okay. Do you worry that he has this proximity to the president and that he can influence the decision-making of the US presidency and policies around this agenda on AI?
Not particularly. Maybe I should, but not particularly. I mean, I try to just wake up and think about like how we're going to make our technology better.
But because that was all so depressing and stupid, I figured we'd end on a maggot Elon Musk supporting moron getting brutally roasted and schooled for their attempts at defending what Elon is doing, because frankly, this is the only way I can cheer myself up at this point. So enjoy.
What about the groceries? Have they come down yet?
Are you okay?
I don't give a fuck about grocery prices.
For 4 years, y'all were crying about how you had to decide between buying groceries and paying for your rent. Weird that all of a sudden now you don't care that grocery prices are skyrocketing.
We are exposing the corruption in this country in real time.
The funniest part is that y'all actually believe what Elon's saying, right? The 2 billion condoms to Gaza, the $600 million on sushi, the $200 million on coffee.
And we're reducing government spending at the same time.
Yet we just spend millions for Donald to go to the Super Bowl.
Billions of dollars we are saving after we cut off funding dumb shit.
Why haven't we cut any funding that goes directly to billionaires, like Elon Musk?
And all you guys can talk about is grocery prices.
Well, he did promise on day one that y'all would get lower grocery prices, and y'all's dumbasses fell for it.
Anybody with a brain knows you can't fix the economy in a day. We all know that. Donald Trump knows that. You know that. So stop acting dumb.
But for 4 years, y'all were saying that the president can control grocery prices. Now you're saying they don't. I think y'all are the ones that should stop acting dumb and just admit that y'all were fucking lied to by Donald Trump.
Thank you all for watching and for helping us hit 400,000 subscribers. We could not have done it without all of you. We really appreciate it. And we will keep the content coming for your viewing pleasure. So make sure you smash that like button, check that you're subscribed, hit that notification bell to get notified when we upload new videos. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you guys in the next one.
So if there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, or if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close